Some people say just by the tone of my voice alone, they can tell that I've smoked way too much weed. And I can't even get mad about this because, I mean, they're right. I did. And even though I don't smoke like that anymore, it's almost like it's permanently a part of me. Like I'm perma-fried in a way or some shit. I don't know. There's this player on the Yankees, Cody Bellinger, and bro just looks so high all the time. And I think I have Cody Bellinger's disease because my entire life I've been accused of being high, even before I started smoking. But what got me so into it originally, it was like I finally found something that slowed me down. Everything in this world feels like it speeds you up. And weed, at first for me, it was just like, slow down, buddy. Like, what are you even tripping about? And this is why I think our generation loves smoking it so much. But I look back now as I'm detached from this chronic use and I see it so differently. I felt at the time I was making my life easier. Whole time I was making my life so much harder. And weed is sneaky because even at my peak potheadness, we'll call it, I don't know if that makes any sense. I was so convinced that the stereotype, it didn't apply to me. Like I was the one pothead where smoking weed all the time didn't impact my productivity. I was just built different. And all my friends, it's like we all just happen to be built different. So you end up spending so much time and energy just trying to prove you aren't lazy. You aren't the typical stoner. It's like, oh, I wake up early, bro. I go to the gym, bro.
It doesn't impact my work at all. I still go to work. I do my work.
People would be like, oh, it doesn't make you lazy. You were just a lazy person. If you smoke weed every day and you're coping with this mindset of, I'm actually still productive with it, maybe you are, but that's not the real problem. You know how many paragraphs, no, not paragraphs, essays that I got on my weed video? People were basically dropping me their entire autobiographies. I was getting resumes of all the shit that they're able to accomplish on a daily basis while also smoking weed every day. Something my mom always told me is like, if you have to constantly prove to everyone and tell everyone who you are, the type of person that you are, chances are you aren't that person. But I get it. I do get it because this, like I said, this was me. You hear the word stoner, I'm thinking Shaggy, I'm thinking X-Code build. And even when I was getting high every single day, that wasn't me. I didn't want to be associated with that. So I get why people constantly feel the need to prove that's not them because that's bad auras. let's be honest. But it's 2026, big bro. Like this is why I'm saying we need to update the stoner stereotype. It's like, why are we still using this early 2000s dare definition of it? Like, truth is, when I think of a pothead now, it's a lot more discreet. You got mom potheads, teacher potheads, finance potheads. Like, you take one walk down Fifth Avenue in the city, you'll see finance bros walking around smoking, womping carts in their suits on the way to work. All those years I spent high, I don't think the real problem was that it made me lazy. By the 2006 definition, I wasn't a pothead. I wasn't remember that commercial where the where the girl would like sink into the couch and like melt into the couch? Like that wasn't me. I didn't associate with that. The updated definition that I would define a pothead as, it's not someone who's lazy, they can still be very productive. It's someone who's comfortable with being comfortable. Because if you're denying this definition, then you're actually coping. Smoking weed every day, it makes it so much harder to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It makes it so much harder to grow and put yourself in positions where you grow. And look, I want to be very clear here. I'm talking about daily use. I'm not saying a puff of a J before you go to see a movie with your boys is going to be a detriment to your life. We used to love getting smacked before going to see a movie, man. I have some fond memories, but at the same time, I don't know. We learned our lesson with Oppenheimer. That was the last time I tried some shit like that. Pulled up to Heimer Geek, huge mistake. But anyway, I don't know why I'm getting to that. When you're in this cycle of smoking weed every day, even if it's just at night, like for years I said, okay, this is cool because I only do it at night when everything else gets done. Even then, what I was doing without realizing it was telling my subconscious, basically accepting the fact that something in my life is missing, but I'm not trying to find it. Like I'm just gonna womp this card or smoke this J at night instead. And this is why I feel confident when I say smoking weed every day stunted my personal growth. And that's the reality for the majority of humans who do it. If you have a conscious and a subconscious, this is what's going to happen. And yes, there's obviously exceptions. I'm sure those exceptions will be active in the comment section below, but that's such a small percentage. The majority of people that are getting fried are not seeking uncomfortable opportunities smacked. Like, let's be real here. If you smoke, you're not going to want to go try some shit you've never done before. You're not going to go want to be around people that you've never met before. And also, it's like, can we just be honest? I feel like I need to say this. It makes anxiety worse. It just does. I said it. You say that and people lose their minds. But it's like, find me someone who's been smoking weed consistently for 5+ years and doesn't have some issue, some form of anxiety. And I say 5+ years because I swear, like, something in the brain chemistry changes with extended use. Because when I first started smoking, it made my anxiety almost like go away. And that's why we loved it so much. It was like my 2x speed Zoomer brain that I had no control over, no understanding of my inner thoughts and what it was like, my feelings. Like, it's like all that shit didn't matter when I smoked. Everything would slow down. It was almost like I was more present. I would smoke and be like, whoa, I literally forgot what I was upset about. But this doesn't last forever. Like, it gets to a point where whatever you're running from gets louder and louder, especially when you're sober. And then it got to the point with me where it's like when I would smoke, it would just be a terrible experience all of a sudden. Like, it was like I was smoking anxiety to the point where I'd be like, why am I doing this to myself every night? And the crazy thing is I continued to do it even though I felt this way. I remember just being like, how is it that I'm looking forward to doing something all day? Like, I can't wait to get home and smoke when the thing that I'm looking forward to doing is just basically panicking in my room. Like, I'm sure there's some scientists who can explain why this happens, but I don't need to see the signs, bro. It's like I've talked to enough people that have also dealt with this. Other people have had this exact same timeline with weed. And at first, I thought it was the potency. I thought it was just like Dispo Bud playing a role, but it's more internal than that. What it boils down to is fear. Weed would put my brain into a state of fear. Forget social interactions. Like, if I'm high, I'd be way too scared of those. I'd be scared of my parents when I'm high. It's like it just produces an unnatural amount of fear in the brain. And I had no idea how bad this was for me in my consciousness. Like, I hadn't read Dune yet. I didn't know that fear is the mind killer. And this is why when people get high, they retreat into their room. They do things they're extremely comfortable with. It's crazy, like, thinking back, like, dude, we used to smoke before parties in high school. And I'm laughing because I think about what that would do to me now. Like, if there was a party with people that I didn't know, what smoking a blunt before that would do to me. Like, I'd be such a tweak in there. It's like if my adult brain gets high, there's certain people, certain social interactions I just cannot be around. Like, I need to be in my room chilling. Last time I tried some shit like this where I was like, oh yeah, this will make this social interaction better, was a couple of years ago at my office Christmas party. Like, I was totally fine talking to my coworkers. We were drinking. I had like one beer, and then one of my coworkers gives me a pen, and I go to rip the pen. I come back, and I'm looking at these people that I was just chilling with, and I'm like, what do they want from me? I don't trust any single person in this room. Like, I'm all paranoid and shit to the point where I had to dip. Like, I had to get out of there. So even though it started off for me and a lot of the bros as like this social ritualistic kind of thing, like smoking with the gang, just dying laughing at everything, it was like a ritual. I was the J roller too. I got so much satisfaction just rolling up baseball bats and enjoying them with the bros. But eventually that social ritual became like a solo dolo experience. All of a sudden I'm alone at the crib, watching a show I've already watched. I got the pizza on the way. Like, all of a sudden I'm just cozy at the crib every night. And this comfortable environment that weed like facilitates, this is the problem. You take away the anxiety, the short-term memory stuff, all the negatives, the health impact. What weed does when it works as intended is it makes you happy. It just does. It makes you blissful, at least for me. it shoots your dopamine receptors. They just go crazy. It's like hyper arousal. So in a hyperactive brain, which I have, which probably 90% of people my age have, it made me feel bliss. And I didn't have any knowledge about bliss or life paths or purpose or anything at the time. So I didn't even realize this. But it's like looking back now, you gave me a J, a TV, some video games, some Chinese food. It's like I was in heaven, dude. I was so grateful for all my little treats. Like I was in this comfortable prison, pretty much. Because the problem is, that wasn't true, genuine bliss. As humans, we all have this responsibility to find our bliss. Like this shit goes back to Greek mythology. It's not easy to do. A lot of people will never find theirs. But one thing for sure is that you can't buy it at a fucking dispensary, bro. Like you can't throw bliss in a grinder. It doesn't work like that. So despite how satisfied or happy I felt at these times, those weren't true feelings of bliss. Like getting high, playing Fortnite, dogging some General Chow chicken should not be giving you bliss. And if you were sober, it wouldn't be. You would eventually start losing your mind. You'd be like, what am I doing? Playing every night, playing Fortnite. Like I need to make changes in my life. This General Chow chicken isn't hitting like it used to. But the weed, it changes reality. You'll literally forget. You'll wake up the next day and you'll be like, okay, time to work so I can do that again and do it again and do it again. And then you lose time. You lose time and you're not growing. Because if you were growing, sitting in that room, playing video games, eating General Chow chicken, I don't know why I'm going at General Chow chicken, but I love General Chow chicken to this day. So let me chill on, bro. But if you were truly growing, sitting there and playing video games would feel like torture to you. It shouldn't feel blissful. There's a numbness there. It's like for mad long, dude, I was basically numb on both sides. You think about being numb, it's like, okay, it's harder to feel negative states. You know, when someone would die or something terrible would happen, it's harder to cry. It's harder to get sad. This is not a good thing because first off, it goes both ways. So the same way it'll be harder for you to feel sad, it'll be harder for you to feel happy. Like I literally forgot what true happiness felt like for a pretty long time, like what true joy actually felt like. And then second, if you can't feel pain, feel sadness, feel what it feels like to be a loser, you won't know that you need to make a change in life. You won't have urgency. These are warnings. Our bodies are built to feel these things for a reason. So it's like numbing feelings, bro. I hate to sound preachy, but if you can't understand your feelings and why you're feeling them, how are you supposed to continue on your path? How are you supposed to find your path, bro? Like talking about find your bliss, you're not gonna find shit. I don't know. It's like if there's one thing I've learned in my life so far, it's that the true growth comes from the suffering. So if you're constantly avoiding suffering, then you're avoiding true growth. And I also want to talk about the whole idea of being chill, because weed absolutely made me chilled the fuck out. I'll never forget, I was around 17 and I overheard my sister talking to my mom, and she was like, why is Paul so nice all of a sudden? Why is he being so chill all of a sudden? And I remember hearing that and being like, damn, like little do they know it's because I'm smoking weed now every single day. But I went from angsty kind of scumbag teenager with no control of my emotions to laid back, super chill, and constantly unbothered by shit. And this was at the time because of weed. Like I really was chill until I ran out of weed. You know, you can find the most chill stoner that you know. Watch how quickly that chill persona turns into cranky bitch persona when you take away the weed, dude. Like the smallest things in life will start to drive you nuts. So it's like unless your plan is to just stay geeked forever, which I feel like for a lot of people that seems to be their plan at the moment, but it's like eventually you're gonna have to deal with the emotions, the feelings that you're hiding from with weed. And I wish I knew that when I was younger, because that is the path to growth. That is how you self-actualize. You stop running away from the parts of you that you don't like. And not to, I don't want to sound like a preachy like douchebag, but this is like you achieve real chill from spiritual growth, not from a backwood, dude. It's just a fact. And I still have a lot of work to do here, but I've come a long way. in terms of like noticing my emotions and my feelings and being aware of the impact they have on me, being aware that I'm not my thoughts. But for me, again, everyone's different. I couldn't get to that point, this point that I'm at now, while also getting high every day. It just wasn't possible. It was like a barrier to my growth. And then when I would get smacked, especially towards the end, forget about observing my thoughts. It's like I would have one bad thought and I would get hung up on it instantly. Like I wouldn't be able to watch a show. I wouldn't be able to have a conversation. That shit would take me out of the driver's seat. It would take me out of the present moment. You know, this is you hear the word dissociating a lot. Like, oh, this person's dissociating. You could see someone zoning out. Weed makes it so much easier to dissociate. It's like you just it puts you deeper into your head. In order to get the most out of life, you need to be fully present and experiencing it as it comes at you. And shout out to the Chud Club. We were just talking about this, link in bio. But weed, it's a rumination drug. You know, I'll smoke and I'll start tweaking about something I did like 3 years ago. Once I realized the importance of being in the present moment and experiencing life as it currently is, weed became a lot less attractive because with weed, it's like I was trying to get out. The reason I loved weed so much is because I was trying to get out of the present moment. I was trying to escape. And I feel like this applies to any substance. Whenever you start to use something to cope with life, at first it takes a load off. Like it makes things feel lighter and easier. But bro, it's only a matter of time before things get heavier. And this is why I see now they told us to stay sober. Like I always used to brush that off. I used to think that I don't know. It's like I used to think that this idea of like, oh, being sober is the best high. Like I thought it was cringe. I was like, this is some like dare bullshit. But I get it now. It's not about being a goody two shoes or like a fucking hall monitor. It's about not making life harder than it needs to be. Like life doesn't have to be a struggle, bro. Why are you playing this shit on hard mode? Cuz like I look back at these years and it's like, dude, I was really struggling. I was playing the game on hard mode. Once you have a dependency on anything, any substance, obviously weed is nothing compared to like opiates or, you know, bars, but even something like nicotine, once you start relying on altering your natural state instead of understanding it and what it does to you, life gets so much harder, bro. It's like starting a game of zombies on round 50 and you still got the starting pistol. You're like, yo, this shit sucks. And the craziest part is you don't even realize that you're suffering because this is all you know now. This is your reality. It changes your reality, your general Chow Fortnite ass reality. You don't even realize people are playing the same game as you, the same game of life, but they have the ray gun, bro. Like the whole time you're bugging out, trying not to go down on round 50, they're on round one with the ray gun. And that's how I'm trying to be. Like I'm done going down. And this is why I can't get down with this counter argument of like, well, life is short, bro. Like, I'm gonna just do whatever makes me happy because life is short. We're only here for a limited time. It's like, fair enough. You can do whatever you want, but the chances are, especially if you have a dependency on something, you aren't truly happy. Because for me and a lot of people that I've talked to, especially real smokers, they aren't actually happy. People who swear by it, love using it, every single day they do it, but subconsciously, like they know it's making things harder than they need to be. So, look, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do with their life. I have no motives. You know, those comments on my first weed video, people genuinely thought that my video was sponsored by alcohol companies. But no, I just think that this is something that's talked about in a preaching way all the time, and it's always from people who don't understand why people feel the need to smoke weed in the first place. Like there's a reason. Like I said, it's almost like this false slowing down of the brain. But I'm here to say, as someone who was reliant on weed for so many years, you can achieve this naturally. Life doesn't have to be a struggle, bro. That's really it. The essence, you know? And I understand it's like you talk about weed, like you start talking about things that people use to cope. It's going to piss a lot of people off, and I'm cool with that. Everyone's situation's also different. I'm sharing my experience because I know that it will help at least one person. So thank you guys so much for watching. Huge shout out to everyone who's in the Patreon. We're doing something special over there. So if you want more content and a monthly book club, join that. Links below. We have a sick little community we're building up. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.